I am so excited for these releases coming out in 2024. Hello everyone, welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Kris, and today's video is the 2024 anticipated release video. I love these videos. They blow up my TBR each and every year, and I'm hoping to have one out at a somewhat relevant time. Before we jump into that though, make sure you check in the description box down below for links to my social media and Discord, should you want to come along for the ride. Now, I believe I've got about 20 books on this list for my anticipated releases 2024. There's a bunch of indie in here, and there's a bunch of trad pub in here, books that I'm really excited to getting to at some point in the near future. Will they all happen in 2024? Absolutely not, because I know who I am as a person, but I'm still very excited to get to, a bunch of these. And some of these I'm lucky enough to be on beta read teams for, ARC teams for, and I'm still I just want to tell you about them so you can get on my hype train. Now, these are in a rough list of time of releasing. I know the first two are out in January. I think the third one has a Kickstarter releasing in January. And we sort of go on from there. I don't know exact dates. If I know the date and if I know the month, I will let you know as we go through. So jumping in with something that's coming out very early in January is the Elergy of a Fragmented Vinyard. And this is by Caden Love. And I'm hearing so much hype about this one. I cannot wait to get my hands on a copy of this book. This is the Paladins of the Harvest, book number 1. The beginning of a new fantasy epoch from debut author Caden Love. Forced to appease the politics of a foreign fiefdom, Fenrir must do the harvest organs from infants. Fenrir must harvest organs from infants. This is dark within the first sentence of the blurb. 10 years ago, a new generation of children began to manifest abilities from the gods. Now, nearly half of the continent has chosen to graft these organs into adults, granting them powers. Fenrir will no longer participate, but can he repent his sin before all is morally lost? Meanwhile, Ahari will give all to preserve the process of harvesting, silencing those who oppose her people. Will this land of peace resort to the barbaric practice of war? In a battle of preservation and progression, there can only be one victor. This sounds incredibly dark. It sounds incredible. I cannot wait to read this book. Next up is one that you might not expect to see on a list of mine, and it's because it's a fantasy romance, and it's quite openly a fantasy romance. And this is coming out on January something. It is January release, and it is the Fey Hotel by Vermilion H. Bain. This is Enchanted with the Enemy, book number 1. Now, I've read this blurb, I've looked at this cover, and I'm still super intrigued. Maybe 2024 is the year that Kris gets over his aversion to romance in fantasy. We'll see. I've enjoyed some in 2023, maybe this is finally the time. This one says, a mysterious inn hidden away on the western coast of Washington has asked for help. Avalon, sent to restore the failing reputation of the refuge on the moor, carries a secret that could lead to her own destruction. A secret she's kept since birth, and one that the grumpy, short-tempered innkeeper becomes the first to discover. I'm a sucker for an inn. I'm a sucker for grumpy characters. Maybe that's it. Eldon is the unwilling manager of a once great and magical hotel that is failing under his inexperienced hand. When he reluctantly requests the help of a hotel management company, he's introduced to Avalon, someone that is more in common with him than either of them knows. They fight their past and one another, but the pair must learn to work together to not only to save the inn, but to save everyone they love. The Fey Hotel is a slow burn, light enemies to lovers portal fantasy romance, perfect for fans of Gilmore Girls and lovers of fairy tales and mythology. This, I don't know, but it is calling to me. I'm just going to lean into it and let myself be captivated by whatever is happening in the Fey Hotel. The next one I have is a book 3, so I won't read the blurb for anything that is a sequel, and that is The Hidden Guardian by J. D. L. Rizal. The Kickstarter is coming out in January, I believe. I've got my little follower button on it, waiting for it to go live because I need the book to match the rest of the set. And that is happening in January. So this is the third book of the last Ranger of the Titan Wilds, or Ranger of the Titan Wilds is the series name. And I really liked book 1, and I'm planning on catching up with the series in 2024. I was an alpha reader for this next one, and that is the Bastard Heirs by Helen Rigg Pedersen. I really enjoyed the alpha read, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how it's changed in the in the world before it gets released. This one is getting released in February of 2024, I believe. The cover I'll put up here, absolutely stunning. I was lucky enough to work on this one prior to release as the alpha reader, like I said, and I'm really looking forward to reading this book in its final form. The next one I have here is Projections. This is by S.E. Porter. Now, I heard about this one on a couple of other people's anticipated release lists. I'm so intrigued. I love the cover. I love the premise of it. And it is something that I really do want to jump into. Now, I believe this is a first in an adult fantasy series where the author, S.E. Porter, has previously written in the YA genre. This is set as a sort of weird sort of sci-fi fantasy, I want to say. It says that for fans of Jeff Vandermeer and China Mayville, which right on the weirder side of fiction. So if you like those authors, maybe you'll enjoy this one. It says, love may last a lifetime, but in this dark historical fantasy, the bitterness of rejection endures for centuries. As a young woman seeks vengeance on the obsessed sorcerer who murdered her because he could not have her, her murderer sends projections of himself out into the world to seek out and seduce women who return the love she denied, or suffer mortal consequence. A lush gothic journey across worlds full of strange characters and even stranger magic. Sarah Porter's adult debut explores misogyny and the soul-corrupting power of unrequited love through an enchanted lens of violence and revenge. Doesn't that just sound delightful? And I also believe that one is coming out in February. I want to say February 13th or around that time. This one is coming out on February 13th, and that is Undead Samurai by Baptiste Pinson Wu. Now, I am intrigued by this author. It's an author I wanted to read the historical fiction. Yeah, it's historical fiction. Yellow Sky Revolt, I think, is the first one of the series, and I have not picked it up yet. I'm very interested in Undead Samurai. This one says, Japan 1625. A new drum master has risen, and soon the nation will fall to the curse of the Izengi? Not sure. Answering the call of his Kotsusumi, dead warriors abandon their peace to once again roam the land of the living, swinging rusty blades and chattering rotten teeth at his behest. Japan's last hope lies in the hands of the 9 warriors gathered by the young daimyo of Orowai to reach Onima. My wife, if she listens to this video, she lived in Japan for a year, she loves Japan culture, she's going to hate every pronunciation that I've just done. Where the source of the curse's power awaits, the 9 will not only have to face swarms of undead samurai and waves of shinobi mercenaries, but even more dangerous to their mission, their inner demons. Against the undead, the 9 only have 2 choices, fighting as one or becoming them. It sounds incredible, and I'm very much looking forward to getting a taste of this author's work. The next one I have is another book 2 here, and I really enjoyed book 1 in 2023 when I got to be on the ARC team for it, and I'm talking about The Blood Curse by Jessica A. McMinn, the follow-up to The Ruptured Sky. And this one has a beautiful, fiery cover. I very much like The Ruptured Sky. I love what Jessica has done in this book, and I cannot wait to read more of it, which I believe is coming out March 22nd of 2024. Don't quote me on any of these dates. Just don't quote me. They're rough dates. I think it's around the 22nd of March. The next one I have is also a March release, and this is The Empire of the Damned by J. Christoph. Yes, I was on the Empire of the Vampire hype train before I jumped onto BookTube. I really enjoyed the book, and I'm very much looking forward to picking up the second one, which I do have slotted in, I think, April or May of next year. So again, I'll be a couple of months late for everyone else doing reviews, but I'm very much looking forward to it. The next one I have put my name up to be on the ARC team for, and one that I think just sounds incredible, and I'm intrigued by this author. I've not read any of their stuff yet, but I will be starting with this next release, and that is The Crimson Court by Brendan Noble. Spirits haunt the realm of Zacchaeus, flee them, fight them, or wield them, but they bow to no master. The upstart matriarch of a fallen house, Kazia Nizik, has sworn to destroy the elusive Crimson Court who assassinated her father. They are near immortal, wielding the spirits that once ended civilization a millennium ago, but she is a reacher of the realm of death, their worst fear. But to kill her deceitful foes, first she must find them. Kasia travels to the capital seeking allies either brave or foolish enough to help her infiltrate the Crimson Elites. Whether spirit hunter, princess, or thief, though, everyone has a hidden agenda, and those with the widest smiles hold daggers behind their backs. Step into a new world of fantasy intrigue where flintlock guns, epic magic, gaslamp technology, and spirits clash amid shadowy bids for power. Revenge is sweet, but at what cost? I read this blurb on, I want to say Facebook, a little while ago, and was so intrigued. And I reached out to the author and I was like, I have to be on this team. I really, really love the premise, and I'm hoping that I love the book. Next one we have is a bit of a change of pace. This is a horror short story collection, I believe. This is This Skin Was Once Mine and Other Disturbances by Eric LaRocca. I read an Eric LaRocca book a couple of years ago. I say a couple of years ago because my grandmother was still alive and she was living in her old house, and I was there to look after her for the day. And I read, I think it was Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. And I'll put the picture of the one that I've read up here. I adored it. It was disgusting body horror. I think Eric LaRocca writes so vivid and so beautifully in the horror genre, and the short stories are second to none. So really looking forward to This Skin Was Once Mine. I don't really know what to expect. I've only read the one book from them, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing what this one has in store. The next one I have is The Last Phi Hunter, and this is by Salani Goldenberg. Apologies for pronunciation if it is wrong. This one just, I saw the cover and I was like, must know what that's about. Looked at the blurb and it sounds incredible, and I believe this one is also coming out sometime in April of 2024. Ambitious Phi Hunter and perpetual lone wolf, X finds his road to glory interrupted when a heavily pregnant runaway enlists his help to escape through the ghost-infected forest. X, the youngest member of the Phi Hunters Order, has spent his life slaying the ghosts and demons of Suyoram Kingdom. While he takes great pride in his mystical trade, collecting dwindling bounties and peddling butchered spirit organs back the glory he craves, he's determined to hunt down Sharla, a demon of nightmares of madness who has eluded even X's masters. In a provincial village along the way, Aranya, a charming Mue-born Boran champion, saves him from a ass-kicking, despite being 9 months pregnant. In return, she asks him to escort her through the dangerous, spirit-filled forest, where ghosts salivate over the scent of the unborn. Oh, that's creepy. But as more of Aranya's secrets emerge and the elusive demon nears, X must face dangers from both men and monsters, or lose not only the respect of the Phi Hunters and the Hunters themselves, along with the woman he's trying not to fall in love with. Oh, we got a touch of romance in this one too. It sounds incredible, and I'm really very much looking forward to it. The next one is another trad pub that is releasing in May of 2024, and this is the Fireborn Blade by Charlotte Bond. I am not going to lie, I saw this one on a Holly Hearts Books video, and I immediately fell in love with the cover, and I wanted to know what it was about. And this one says, kill the dragon, find the blade, reclaim your honor. It's that, or end up like countless knights before her, as a puddle of gore and molten armor. Madeline, I want to say, is a knight. There aren't many women in her line of work, and it often feels like the sneering and contempt from her peers is harder to stomach than the actual dragon slaying. But she's a knight, and made of sterner stuff. A minor infraction forces her to redeem her honor in the most dramatic way possible. She must retrieve the fabled Fireborn Blade from its keeper, legendary dragon of the White Lady, or die trying. If history tells us anything, is that die trying is where to wager your coin. Madeline's tale contains a rich history of dragons, ill-fated knights, scheming squires, and sapphic love, with deceptions and double crosses that will keep you guessing right up to its dramatic conclusion. Ultimately, the Fireborn Blade is about the roles we refuse to accept and of the place we make for ourselves in the world. It sounds great, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Now, these two coming up are ones that I'm lucky enough to beta read for in the month of January, but they will be coming out later this year. The first one is Die Young by Morgan Shank. I don't have a cover or a blurb that I can give away, but this is the author of the Low Country series, and I have had such good interactions with this author. I can't wait to beta read the book. I haven't started at the time of filming, but I'm very much looking forward to. And we also have Soul Cage by Luke Schultz, the author of The King's Radiance and The Sun Prince, which released in 2023, the the second book of the series. So I'll be beta reading those two, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what happens with those by the time they release out in the world. The next one I have on here is Carved on Flawed Dreams by M.T. Fontaine. This is book 3 in the Brands of Telgear series. I made it known that I loved the Brands of Telgear series. I discovered M.T. Fontaine in 2023. Fantastic. Really loved the books that I read. So I've read both book 1 and book 2, and very much looking forward to book 3, which I believe is coming out June or July of 2024. The next one I have here is The Sky on Fire by Jen Lyons. Now, Jen Lyons has a series I would like to read at some point. I haven't picked it up yet, but I'm looking to getting a taste of the writing with this book coming out in 2024. This one says, enter a world ruled by dragons. Anahrod lives only for survival, preferring to thrive in the jungles of the deep with the Titan Drake she keeps by her side. When an adventuring party saves her from capture by the local warlord Ciceron, she is eager to return to her solitary life. But this is no ordinary rescue. Anahrod's past has caught up with her, and the cunning misfits intend to spirit her away to the Cloud Cities, where they need her help to steal from a dragon's horde. There's only one in the Cloud Cities dragons rule, and the horde in question belongs to the current regent, Neveranimus, and she wants Anahrod dead. It sounds like an adventure, which may or may not be great for the people inside of said adventure, but I'm really looking forward to getting a taste of this author's writing. The next one I have is, I don't know where I saw it. I think it may have been on Fanfi Addict's anticipated release list. This cover had me automatically clicking the link to it. I was like, pre-order that. I don't care. The cover is fantastic. This is Masquerade by O.O. Sangayomi. Now, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Apologies if I didn't. Now, this has got quite a long blurb, so I'm going to go with the top. And it says, set in a wonderfully reimagined 15th century West Africa, Masquerade is a dazzling lyrical tale exploring the true cost of one woman's fight for freedom and self-discovery and the lengths she'll go to secure her future. I'm just going to read the blurb. Ododo's, I'm sorry if I pronounced any of this wrong, hometown of Timbuktu has been conquered by the warrior king of Yorubaland. Already shunned as social pariahs, living conditions for Ododo and other women in her blacksmith guild grow even worse under the Yoruba rule. Then Ododo is abducted. She is whisked across the Sahara to the capital city of Sangoti, where she is shocked to discover that her kidnapper is none other than the vagrant who had visited her guild just days prior. But now that he is swathed in riches rather than rags, Ododo realizes he is not a vagrant at all. He is the warrior king, and he has chosen her to be his wife. In a sudden change of fortune, Ododo soars to the very heights of society, but after a lifetime of subjugation, the power that saturates this world of battle and political savvy becomes too enticing to resist. As tensions with rival states grow, revealing elaborate schemes and enemies hidden in plain sight, Ododo must defy the cruel king she has been forced to wed by reforging the shaky loyalties of a court in her favor, or risk losing everything, including her life. This says it's loosely based on the myth of Persephone. O.O. Sangayomi's Masquerade takes you on a journey of epic power struggles and political intrigue that turn an entire region on its head. It sounds fantastic, it looks fantastic, and I cannot wait to read this one. I believe this one is coming out in August, I want to say. Yeah, it says August of 2024. Now, also coming out in August of 2024 that I don't have a title for, but I've talked to the author, and this is a tentative date. This is going to be book 2 in the Heart of Quinaria series. I don't think I pronounced that right. This is by Bethany Garcia. I really liked With Thieves and Shadows. I think it was the most ballsy debut that I've come across ever in the history of reading debuts, even as ARCs and beta reading and alpha reading. I think this book had so very much in it, and it did it well. So book 2 is planning on coming out in August 2024, which means I've got a little bit of time to catch up on the novellas, but I'm very much looking forward to that. I've got 2 here by L.L. McCrae, that is Kohl and Morgan. These are the books 5 and 6 of the World of Lunaria. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to finish this series. I desperately need to read book 4. I've needed to read book 4 for a year, and now I know that books 5 and 6 are potentially coming out next year. I need to get on it. So very much looking forward to that series conclusion, and Lauren is one of my favorite authors in the indie scene. I will buy anything that she produces out in the world. So very much looking forward to that. The next one I have here is An Exile of Water and Gold by Joshua Walker. I just read the novella, The Rest to the Gods. I adored it. I absolutely loved it. I cannot wait to see what Joshua Walker does in a full-length fantasy novel. I very much want it in my hands yesterday. Now, the next two, or the last two that I have here for you, are tentative. I've spoken to the author for this first one here, who believes this book will be coming out towards the end of 2024, and that is The Pillars of the Sky by Mark Timoney, the author of Blood of the Spear. Now, Blood of the Spear is an epic fantasy. If you love adventure, if you love excellent world building, I had such a good time with it. I'm hoping to be on the alpha team to read Pillars of the Sky, which is going to be fantastic, and I cannot wait to get my hands on the final copy of this book. Mark and I have been writing together for a long time. He'll be writing this, and I'll be writing my book, which may come out in, 2033. And he's been really encouraging for me. I get to hear little tidbits about this book, and it sounds super exciting. It's going to be a chunky book, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. So that, tentatively, you've heard it here at A Fictional Escapist first, towards the end of 2024. And the next one that I have on this list is one that I just need. And I hope it comes out in 2024. It's been teased to come out in 2024, and I have thoughts and prayers out into the universe to get this book in my hands. And that is The Curse for Living by Nicholas Lietzow, author of Dreams of the Dying. Still one of my favorite books to date. I need to reread that book so that I can read The Cure for the Living the second it comes out. But I can't wait. I need it. I need it in my life. I need all these books in my life. Those are the 2024 releases I'm excited for. Whoa, hey, whoa, hold up there. There is another release coming out in 2024 that I think that everyone needs to know about, and that is Darktown by Palmer Pickering. I apologize for the phone insert where it's a little bit more noisy. I'm sweaty because I just mowed the yard, but I was out there, I was mowing, and I was like, there is something else that I'm missing, and that is a literary RPG coming to you by Palmer Pickering. There is some preliminary cover art up here. It looks fantastic. I've had a joy beta reading this one, and I hope everyone goes and checks it out because it is a lot of fun. What are you excited for? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like the content, give one of those, and if you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao.